Hello everyone. I've been trying to get you people to go watch Bill Donahue's videos. There's a playlist on my channel below of Phil Donahue's videos talking about the Greek form words of the stars in Aquarius. Hypothalamus. This is Thalim, by the way. Thalim's in your head. You have a zodiac in you. And it's in the brain. And the hypothalamus, a region of the forebrain below the thalamus that coordinates both the autonomic nervous system and the activity of the pituitary, controlling body temperature, thirst, hunger, and other homeostasis systems, and involved in sleep and emotional activity. This is very important. Let's take a look at it. All of the stars in Aquarius literally line up. They changed it several times, but the old one, and they all line up, and having to do with the thalamus, with Thalim, and the pituitary gland. When you pop your pituitary gland and the hypothalamus opens up to you, you have these massive spiritual experiences. But it's also connected with the brain. I've been getting a lot of messages from Sarah, right? It's the cerebellum. Sarah's here. Sarah's here too. But there's Thalim, or your thalamus, your Thalim, right here. It's in your mind. It's in your brain. It's part of you. Of course, they want that energy to come up that spinal cord, pop the hypothalamus so that it secretes fluid from the pituitary gland. And it's a white, milky substance. It's called the land of milk and honey. Okay? I experienced this as a small child, so I actually know what the hell I'm talking about. And I was so excited with Bill's work in the Greek, because I'm teaching it from the Arabic, and you can see how the Greeks even used the Arabic, the thalamus. They didn't say the hypocristus, but to christen, to that X mark, that Chris mark, has to do with the milk. They would anoint your head with oil. Here's the oil. Right in here. And this is, our schools failed us. They don't really teach us this. They try to. But our teachers don't know what they're teaching, and the students don't have a clue. Especially if the teachers don't. If you were like me, in later years, I landed in public schools, and my math teacher was the coach. Because we didn't have a math teacher. He was the football coach. Right? Just anybody sitting in on a class. It didn't matter if they knew that material or not. Even if they did know the material, it made no difference, because they were required to teach us core curriculum, what was in that book, whether they believed it to be the truth or not. And of course, we know this. We've all been through this. But check this out. I mean, it's all through our body. I'm telling you, everything's connected to everything else. When I was little, my grandmother used to tell me, if you have like a toothache, and it's on the right side of your body, you would take your forefinger and your thumb and press between the forefinger and the thumb on the other hand, and hold it until that nerve went dead, and it would cut the pain off from the other side. But you can see here, even in your feet, how it's connected all the way back up to your head. And I've been telling you that your root chakra is in your feet, not at the base of your spine. It just appears that way because of the pictures that we've been shown and the misteachings. But in the Native American tradition, it's at the feet. And that puts Mars, that red chakra, under your feet. It's iron, right? It's iron. Iron is magnetic. You can take a magnet and tell if a metal has iron in it or not. And that magnet is majestic, magic, magi. All these words come from this. But great to have pedicures. Go have your feet done. If you have never done this, you need to, at least once in your life, take that money and go do this for yourself. And there are places you can get it done anywhere from $20 to $50, depending. Sometimes more. If you have a friend, do it for each other. But this having to do with the feet and the hands, actually the hands are even more active than the feet. You can massage somebody's hands and knock them out really fast. It will put them to sleep quick. You can do all kind of things to the body, manipulating the hands and the feet. But it's all back to the hypothalamus. It's all about Thalim. Thalim's the one, once the hypothalamus is activated, it's the one that pops the pituitary gland. That milk and that honey. And Bill Donahue does such an excellent job of explaining that in Aquarius that I'm not even going to try to touch it. He done his homework. I don't think he saw in the beginning the connection with the Arabic, but if you've been with me long enough, you see it real clearly. There's Thalim right there, and he's us. Okay, I didn't want to drag this one on out. I just wanted to bring this up, and because I don't think everybody is understanding. Another thing you're not really understanding is when Jesus said, take up your cross and follow him, that it's the same as his cross. You're on one of those three crosses. If you're on the mutable cross, you need to learn everything you can about that mutable cross, because every sign in it affects you. And it affects you most of all because you mutable people, you're the ones that are facing the biggest change. And you're also the ones fighting that change. The alchemical magical circle that we're standing in is to change us. Now, the hypothalamus is run by hormones. We've talked a lot about hormones in other videos, and how that too is a play. It's all a play on words. All of it. The English language is made up of all these other languages, and to me, it's putting them back together. But to control yourself, know thyself and control thyself. This has everything to do with the hypothalamus. We react. Scientology, the only thing L. Ron Hubbard ever had to give humanity was something we already had. We had just lost the information. And that was controlling the reactive mind. That's all Scientology is about. The rest of it is just shit they stole from the church to delude people for money. It's a system of how to delude people. But when you step into this, you don't need the church. You don't need Scientology. You don't need anything but to control yourself. You stop controlling others. You stop trying to control the world. You stop trying to change anything and allow that giant magic circle to do its great work in you. Because the work it has for you is set up specifically to the day you were born. And it was no accident. There's no such thing as an accident inside this magic circle. We caused them. It sets up no accidents. It's there to perpetuate you to the best you can possibly be. Unfortunately, it does not work for most people because we've been lied to about it and we fight against it. The church fights against it. Governments fight against it. The educational system's fighting against it. Because when you know this truth, you're free from the church. You're free from the government. You're free from the educational system. You've rose above that. You have become. You've become Thalim himself. Milk and honey pours out your mouth. Instead of lies, deceit, hate, propaganda, pointing fingers at everybody. That don't happen anymore. It slowly filters away out of your life. And this is what this age coming up is all about. Scientology and these new churches that are being set up, they are all apostate. Anything that comes out of these former churches is apostate. Because they took the books of the heavens and made a religion out of it. They made a lie out of it. Because all religion books are 100% astrology books. Alchemical astrology books. Not the hoopla and the different cultural traditions. 100% pure alchemy. And it's based on the heavens and your body and your mind. And I hope this helps a lot of you. Please go watch Bill's videos if you hadn't. And keep in mind, stop being so critical. If you find an error, it's okay to point out, to suggest, okay, well, this says this, but over here it says that. But to just, that attacking, that you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. We're grown-ups. We can have a conversation. You can explain why you see it a different way. And then we can interact till we can come to our own conclusions. But don't ever try to force anything on anybody. And when they tell you that truth is stranger than fiction, indeed it is. We have, most of the people on this planet belong to some religion. They're in these churches. They're giving their lives, their money. They even sacrifice their children at these altars in these churches. And they believe they do it from the heart, and they believe they're doing a good thing. But how do you tell these people who are so invested for generations in their families in these institutions, how do you explain to them? You live inside of a giant magic circle. You're inside of a giant magic circle. How do you explain that to them? Indeed, the truth is stranger than fiction. And you know what to do. Commit that random act of kindness every single day. Change your life and the world.